everybody, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, let me introduce you all to myself. I'm Christy and I'm a physiotherapist working in the UK, and I make up videos on this channel for all aspiring physios and for all you physios who are wanting to come over and study in the UK and thereby also maybe work in the UK and settle down. So firstly, I'll put first things first. As per request from so many of my subscribers and from so many of my viewers, you've all asked me to make up videos in Hindi, to make up videos in Tamil, to make up videos in so many different languages, which I can't because then there'll be a bias to so many people, as well as because I can't speak in all those languages. I'm quite fluent with Hindi, but the thing is, if I only do up videos in Hindi, then that's not going to be fair for the rest of you. So I think I will stick on to English. So in my previous videos, I've used English and Malayalam. So if you want to know more about those videos, or if you want to make me do those videos again, which I hope you don't. A lot of you have asked me to make more videos on HCPC registration form and how do you fill it up. I will try and make up another video in English completely, but let's see what happens. Okay, so today I'm going to come up with this video where I'll be talking about what happens after you apply for your HCPC registration, what happens with the application, how do they actually process it, how is the assessment done, and how long does it take for a decision letter to come over, and some of the frequently asked questions after you submit your application. So I'll be coming up with that too. So let us firstly break down into even before that, let me remind you one more thing. A lot of you were asking to make up videos regarding so many different professions which are regulated under the HCPC, but I will try. That's the only thing that I can say. And for so many of you, radiographers, dietitians, x-ray technicians, critical technologists, operating department practitioners, so many of you are asking me so many different doubts. All I can say is, because I don't work under all those professions and because I'm a physiotherapist, there are limitations of my knowledge in your profession, but I can definitely say one thing: all these professions have the same HCPC registration. So there are about 14 occupations. There are about 14 occupations that come under HCPC, that is regulated by the HCPC. I'll quickly read the professions. Many of you might know this. There are arts therapists, biomedical scientists, chiropodists or podiatrists, clinical scientists, dietitians, hearing aid dispensers, occupational therapists, operating department practitioners, orthoptists, paramedics, physiotherapists, practitioners, psychologists, prosthetists or orthotists, radiographers, speech and language therapists. So these are the 15 occupations, I think, which are regulated by the Health and Care Professions Council. So if there are so many occupations under this which have come into the shortage occupation list quite recently, so I think I'll add that also. So today's video is going to be very, very big. It's going to be huge. Okay, so some of the occupations that have come under the shortage occupation list other than the nurses are, so I'll read the latest update. All medical practitioners, all jobs under medical practitioners have been opened up as a shortage occupation in England, Scotland, Wales and the Northern Ireland. All psychologists in the whole of United Kingdom, all medical radiographers, all jobs including radiotherapy practitioners or technologists. So I'm not too quite sure about technicians, okay, over there, but I don't know, but I'm not too quite sure about technicians over there. So they have also got shortage of vacancies in England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. Then occupational therapists, all posts of occupational therapists, speech and language therapists, nurses, then secondary education teaching professionals, only teachers in maths, science, physics, where an element of physics will be taught, computer science and Mandarin. These are the things that have come under in the list, and it's in the whole of the United Kingdom, that is England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. Then secondary education teaching professionals, only teachers in Gaelic. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. That has been opened only in Scotland. Now primary and nursery education teaching professionals, only Gaelic again, Gaelic medium teachers in Scotland only. And all social workers, that is a healthcare visa, has come up. So all social workers coming under that category, all social workers in the whole of United Kingdom. So these are, and also paramedics, all jobs coming under paramedics have also come into the shortage occupation list. So for all of you physiotherapists asking me, why isn't our profession coming in the shortage occupation list, let me just explain that to you. Yes, this has been put forward by the CSP, the Chartered Society of Physiotherapists, a couple of times last year and the year before and the years before. But the thing is, they are saying that there are about 2 criteria. So the NHS, or maybe the Public Health England, is saying that there are about 2 criteria which physiotherapists don't meet, which nurses have, which paramedics have. So that is why they're not bringing it up in the occupation list, shortage occupation list. But that does not mean, and that does not prove, that our occupation does not have vacancies here. No, it's not true. There are a lot of vacancies, but the thing is, only if there is no candidate that fills up a vacancy inside the United Kingdom or maybe inside the European Union will they prefer candidates from overseas. Only then will they sponsor somebody for a tier 2 visa. So that's what usually happens with all the physiotherapy vacancies that are going on now. So, but fingers crossed, having said that, May 2020, last year that is, the CSP has again gone forward and put forward a bill where they have asked, I've shared this with a couple of physios whom I know personally, so they have passed out this request again that, you know, we need our profession in the shortage occupation list. So we are hoping and praying for the best to come. So if it does, I'll let you all know. I'll update about it through this channel. So for all of you all watching out there, do make sure that you subscribe to my channel. I know it's almost 7 minutes now since I've started my rambling, but I hope I've been helpful enough and mentioned so many important points out there for so many of you all watching my channel. And also I'd like to say one thing that I've seen that in my analytics that about 80%, approximately 80% of the people viewing this channel have not subscribed to my channel. I wouldn't say go and hit the subscribe button, but if you don't want to miss out on any notifications and updates, do make sure that you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any updates. So let's get started with the breaking down of the HCPC application process and assessment process, as well as I'll discuss today with you a lot of frequently asked questions regarding the application process, as well as some of the frequently asked questions of this application. So let's get started. So the first step after you submit your international application HCPC form is you submit your form, and then occurs a scrutiny fee which comes up. The second is receiving a confirmation letter and a reference number, which is very important because you have to keep that reference number safely saved. Processing and assessment is the third step, and then comes the decision letter. So first we'll see the step 1, which is application received by the HCPC. So what happens after the HCPC receives your application? We'll see that first. So if your application is accepted for processing, they'll take a scrutiny fee payment, which is about £495, and they'll contact you with a payment information, and they'll provide you with the application reference number, which will be in the following format: capitals in caps AA 1 2 3 4 5 6. So it will be in a format similar to that. That will be your reference number throughout the application process, and it's very important that you use this number to conduct the HCPC to discuss regarding your application through each stage of your assessment process. If your application is not accepted for processing because of any missing information, they'll return it to you on the address kept on the form, and you will need to resubmit your application at this stage. So they've clearly written that. Okay, so that is step 1. That happens after your application is received by the Health and Care Professions Council. Step 2 is initial processing within 4 weeks from receipt. So during this period, they'll contact your education provider, which will be your university or your college, any relevant regulatory or professional bodies, and any professional referees. So if you've kept any professional regulatory bodies, for example, the Indian Association of Physiotherapists, or if you're from Kerala Association of Physiotherapists, or if you're from any northern Indian states, then your state council. So any regulatory body where you have kept your membership form about, or you have proven your membership about, they will contact them, and also your university. Then they'll also ask an outside agency to conduct these checks on their behalf, and that is to actually verify the information that you have provided in your application form. That's coming under step 2, and they'll not wait to hear from these contacts before sending your application to the next stage. So they will be actually processing your application. So if at all your university or your regulatory body does not respond to their email, then too they'll not actually wait for them to further go into the investigation or into the assessment. They'll straight away take their assessment of the application to the next level, so don't worry about it. And if there is anything that they have to let you know, you will be notified the outcome of it and also the next stage of the process. So keep checking your emails. That is what they mean by this. Now the assessment, now the step 3 is the assessment part, which happens within 60 working days from the receipt of application. So they regulate your education and training for practice, okay? And any other relevant education or training experiences that you've kept in your application form, that will be also checked and rechecked, and your application will be sent to 2 other assessors from the part of the register to which you are applying. So they will consider all the information that you've submitted before making any further recommendations. They'll compare your regulated education and training with their standards of proficiency, and if they identify any shortfalls, they look to see if these have been made up through any other relevant education or training courses for experience. They'll then send a recommendation to the Education and Training Committee, or ETC, and this recommendation will then be reviewed by the ETC, who will send their decision to you. So you can also note that they'll make all decisions based on the information provided by you in the application. Okay, they do not contact any referees, any training institutions, or any employers to obtain further information about your training or work experience, and they'll endeavor to send a record of assessment to you within 60 working days of the initial receipt. Now, this record of assessment may include a request for further information, which will prolong the processing time of your application, and for this reason it is important that you include as much relevant information as possible when you submit your application. Okay, so I hope all these steps were clear to you. And so what happens is, in the first step, your application is received by the Health and Care Professions Council. In the second, the initial processing happens within 4 weeks from receipt. And the third, assessment within 60 working days from receipt. So after your application is done, and after everything is checked, what you need to keep in mind is you need to keep reading about the standards of proficiency of your profession, so that it doesn't hinder to anything that comes in the near future. That is when you are maybe applying for a job in the UK and stuff like that, and when you're planning to get further to the frequently asked questions that you have when you submit your application, when you submit your HCPC application. So the first one is, how do you know that you should apply via the international route? So if you're unsure whether your qualification relates to one of the professions on the register, make sure you find it useful to contact a professional body. It could be the the email ID that the HCPC have given in their website, which is international@hcpc.uk.org or something like that. Let's see what their email ID is. Or you could send in at registration@hcpc-uk.org. That is the registration team's email ID. So you could contact them on that. And I know that temporarily for now the HCPC is not responding to any telephone calls. So many of you have been asking me why is it so. It's because of COVID, and they will be getting back to things where they can, you know, attend calls and stuff. But you can definitely you can definitely contact them on the email ID. They are usually responsive within 7 working days. That is how, within at least 10 working days. That is how the HCPC works. So make sure that you keep checking your emails and make sure that you send in your queries to them if you have, and they can really help you out. Okay, so the next question is usually, is there a fee for my application? Yes. If your application is accepted for processing, then they'll take a scrutiny payment, which is £495 from your account. And they usually do it through World Pay. That's the website that they usually do. So don't do it through any other sites. They'll send you the link for it. Just do it through that. Now, should I ask my education provider or competent authority regarding verifications before applying? No, because the HCPC will directly contact your education provider and competent authority, so you don't have to worry about it. There is no need for you to ask them to send information in advance of your application. Now, where is your reference number? So if your application is successful, your application number will be on the correspondence you receive confirming its success. So once you receive that email, your reference number will be clearly mentioned in that. So that will be your reference number. Why has my application not been accepted for processing? If your question is this, then your application is not accepted because there is some missing information in it, and they'll return your application to the address you've provided on the form. So you will then need to fill in the missing information and resubmit the form. That's what you usually do. So that is why if there is any problem with the processing, if they find, they'll usually send the form back to you. How will you know whether you have been a successful candidate? You will be notified about the outcome of your application in writing via email. So don't worry about that either. You will be made to know that your application was successful, so you don't have to be stressed about it. Now, how do you make a refugee application? If you have been granted refugee status or given leave to enter or remain in the United Kingdom on humanitarian protection grounds, they will actually give you a scrutiny fee for the application, and you can apply through the international route and enclose a letter from the Home Office confirming that you have a refugee or a humanitarian protection status. So they'll ask you so many things, and they'll provide you as much information as possible throughout your application assessment time, and you'll be if you are not able to provide so many of the information that they've asked, for example, your documents have been destroyed due to any reason, genuine reasons, and you cannot obtain them, then you can also include that in the letter that you send with the application. So with a thorough explanation of how you lost it and things like that, okay? And for so many of you wanting to know I've already mentioned this, but I'm saying that you can actually call the registration department of the HCPC in these numbers. 44 is the dialing code for United Kingdom, and then you can add an O or a 0 and 300-500-4472, or you can go for 44, the dialing code, and 020-7582-5460 for any further assistance. So these are the numbers. For any refugee allied health professionals seeking advice and information on how you can find jobs within the NHS or gain experience, other useful assistance, you can also use online information on the NHS jobs website. Okay, so that is that. So I've kind of covered so many different areas. I think have been helpful for so many of you all. And if you still have any questions about application form and how it's being processed and how many days it will take and all that, I have clearly mentioned all that in this video, but I'll say you can go on to the email and mail them, and their mail ID is registration@hcpc-uk.org. So you can just mail them in and they will help you out. So I think that's about it. I have included so many different things for so many healthcare workers out there. I hope this has been helpful for so many of you all. So I hope now all of you are all happy that I haven't included any other language in this video other than English. So let's all, hope for the best. Hope physiotherapy comes into the shortage occupation list soon. If it does, I'll update you all. And if you come to know about it before me, let me know too. So that's about it. I think I'll come up with more informative videos about working in the UK, how assessments are made of job applications and stuff like that. So I'll also be coming up with something else which is really big. I'll be announcing it on this channel of mine as well as the other channel that I have, which is Chris Joe Fam. You can also find that channel of mine. I'll put the link of it in the description down below. You can go and check it out if you're interested. And I'll let you know so many other details in the coming days. So stay tuned to my channel, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon. Get notified every time I put in a video. Thank you, God bless, and stay happy.